Another topic I'm sure you will hear about and probably don't love being asked, but the Deebo Samuel situation still was out there. Do you expect he was at the mini camp, so I imagine he's going to be at camp. Do you imagine that he will participate in drills?
I think so, but I don't really sit there and try to guess. The only reason I have to think about it is because if I ever do a podcast or anything, I got to be ready for someone to ask me that question. So literally, that's the first time I'll think about, like, I think that's going to take care of itself, all of it. The days of holding out and stuff are a little bit different now because players, regardless what the team decides later, they always have to pay that back. It doesn't make much sense for those guys. So I'd be surprised if that
I'm
happened.
glad you said that because that's the secret, right? Those fines do end up getting kind of paid back in the
Yeah, so
negotiation.
yeah, they used to all the
Yeah,
time,
yeah.
but now they can't. So there's
Okay.
different ways to it. So I'm not sure, but what I do know is I'm not worried about it not getting done. I feel very confident that Deebo's going to be on our team this year, and he's going to be here for many years after. I do believe he'll get a deal. I know that they're working on it right now. Are upstairs with John and Parag. I know they've been through negotiations with Tori, so that's something that I know they've been doing. I want to say the last couple of weeks, but that's also something that's my time to really stay out of it. I think they'll get something done sooner than later, but there is no timeline, and I'm not really concerned about it right now. I think it's all going to work out.
Just initially, kind of in the opening stage, do you get involved with this? Like, do you sit down in rooms at all and kind of go through parameters on some of these discussions, Kyle?
Not as much parameters. I've anything that I'm involved on, I try to keep it very simple, and so that's what was so nice about someone like Deebo. When you are with players, it's tough when you're a coach because you understand the coaching aspect. You know what these players go through, and if you just look at it that way, I think every player in the league is underpaid. This league makes a lot of money and these players go through a lot of stuff. So like you always look at it that way. But then when you become a head coach or general manager and stuff like that, you do get to see the other side. And your job is to put the best football team together possible. And so you work with all these players and your goal is to get them paid. And you want it to be by you. But you got to balance all that stuff together so you have a chance to win so everyone can continue to get paid. And so that's very tough, especially when you coach guys for 5 years. And it's because I'm always going to keep it real, no matter what my relationship is with someone. When someone asks me my opinion, I'm going to tell them where I think they should be. And that was such a cool thing with Deebo last year, just how he played and stuff. And we always liked Deebo. I always wanted him to be a part of our team, but he played at a certain level where we knew that Deebo deserves to be up there. He earned that. And now you got to figure out how to do that best for him, how to do it best for us, and how to do that best going forward for the rest of our roster. But it was nice because right when the season ended, there's no, hey, man, I love you, but I don't feel this way about you. And that's good when that's real because I've had to go through some stuff with people where it's, I do love you, but sorry, man, this isn't where you're at. And that can be tough. And sometimes people like when you keep it real with them, and sometimes people don't. And so you got to go through all that stuff throughout these relationships. But when it's all said and done, I think Debo's going to make a lot of money that he's earned. And I think he's going to be continued to have a good chance to make a lot of money going forward.
His usage has been brought up. Obviously, you run him as a running back at the end of the season. You get more hits. He's obviously was incredibly effective. Scored touchdowns, huge touchdowns. Could you see backing off of that? I mean, could that be? I mean, whether that's part of a contract negotiation or whether just the way you think would be the best way for him to be used, or whether he thinks that. Could you, as the play caller, could you, as the offensive schemer, could you, as the head coach, say, you know what? Let's just go into the season not planning to do that so much.
Oh, yeah, you could. That's something I would totally do if I believe that was the best thing for our team. If I believe that was the best thing for Deebo, then it's an easy decision. If you believe that's the wrong thing for the team, and if you also believe that's the wrong thing for the player, then that's stuff you got to talk to people about. There's no secret agendas here. We're trying to win a football game. We're trying to do it the best we can. And the one thing I do know about Deebo, of course, going in negotiations and stuff, all this stuff comes into play. But Deebo loves to play football, and that's what I've always loved about him. And Deebo's not a guy that you ever have to talk into something hard. Debo's probably going to come to you with it. Like, hey, I think I could do this. Give me a chance to win. And that's what you love about him. Deebo and I have a really good relationship. I think when you're away from players, it's always tougher when they're not in the building. They don't live in the area, and especially going through contract negotiations and stuff. But Deebo and I have kept in contact a lot here over the last couple months, and I expect to see him later here today. I don't know what the timetable it is, but I think both sides are going to be very happy when it's done.